Hey guys, so in this exercise we're going to start to work with sound audio. So in the first couple exercise we can import a number of external sound files such as the M4A or the MP3 into TouchDesigner for experiment. So first of all, let's create the project folder. So we name it at play sound 001 and rename this, and we check the audio checkbox. That means we're going to create an audio folder in order to contain the external audio file around here. Okay, so we tidy up the desktop and then start looking for our file. So I have a number of sound loop, so I just copy one of them and put it into the audio folder, and then from the audio folder we can just drag and then drop it onto the project, and the one we drop over here will turn into an audio file in that point to that M4A audio file, and then that will play automatically sequentially from start to beginning and then loop because of the repeat is on over here. So but we cannot actually hear the sound yet until we try to find another one from the CHOP. And in CHOP, the first column that with the name start with audio, so you can find there are a number of them over here. So the one we have just used here is the audio file in, and in order to use or to listen to the sound we need to have the audio device out, which is something like the sound card from your computer system, and you can just drag this one and then connect it to the first input. So that will give you the sound. So let me turn down the volume a little bit. Okay, so that's it. This is the very simple way to playback a sound file in TouchDesigner. But in TouchDesigner, usually we would like to, for example, have a look of the sound visually. And if you zoom in, you can actually see the waveform of the sound file playing, and also send it to the sound card for display, as I should say. And to visualize the sound, there's multiple ways to do so. So we start with the first one, that we try to visualize the volume of the sound. So again, we go to the chop to select something called analyze, and we can connect the sound to the analyze, which is something like sampling the current signal that we're playing back. And in order to have a positive value that kind of reflecting the intensity of the sound, we might choose the function like the RMS power. So RMS stands for the root mean square. So the signal will be squared and then add together and then take the square root. So essentially that will convert into a positive number that representing the energy of the file that we are playing. Okay, so we now have these two numbers referring to the volume of the channel 1 and channel 2, and then we can do a math if we want to. So the reason to do a math is we might want to change the value of the two channel to scale it up or scale it down, because the value over here is actually quite small, you can see. Okay, so to make it visible, so we're going to use a top, for example, like a circle, and you can like change the color of the circle, and then we change it to the final resolution that we usually have 1280 by 720, and we might also want to make the circle a little bit smaller. Okay, and our intention is to use this sound volume information to change the size of the circle. So we're going to do a transform, and then eventually we're going to modify the scale in X and Y of this circle, so that after the transformation we'll display the circle in the output window. So the step is pretty straightforward. We can turn on the viewer active for the mask, and then drag channel 1, for example, to the scale in the X direction, and drag channel 2 to the scale in the Y direction. So now we have something like this. And if you want to make changes to the mask, so make sure you disable that viewer active, and then we go to the multiplication and add to multiply, for example, instead of 1, so we have 2. So now we have a bigger circle because we multiply the original number of channel 1 and channel 2 by 2. So that will be the first exercise. So as usual, you can go out of the project 1 to the perform window to change full screen and without a border. So I turn on the volume. So that's it. This is the sound responsive graphic that visualize the volume of this drum loop.